Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I'm coming live early, which means I'll be by myself now. But many of you will stop by sometime today, and I appreciate you checking me out. We're 1 week away from the presidential election, and I don't know about you, I cannot wait to get past the election. I am really tired of the noise. I listened to Darren Daly this morning, and I really liked his daily dose today, where he said, vote on yourself. That's who you need to vote on. Vote on yourself. Vote on taking self-determination of your future, responsibility for yourself, and it was a good take. But that's not what I'm talking about today. Matter of fact, I'm lightening it up a little bit today. I don't know why, but I found it interesting. I read an article in Kiplinger's yesterday, the title of the article is Amazon versus Walmart, who has the cheapest prices? And I thought with budget strained and prices high, and we're headed into the holidays, that you might find some interest in this. And so I put a link to this article in my notes below, and I did a LinkedIn post, not only kind of summarizing this article, but with a link to it. And I think you might find some interest in it. So I'm going to cover some of the more salient topics. Now, what the author, Catherine Pomeroy, what she's really using in her article, she's using a 2023 study by Profitero. And Profitero is an internet commerce analytics platform. They do an annual study on who has the cheapest prices. The study is called the Price Wars Study. That study is behind a paywall, so unfortunately I couldn't pull up the exact data, but we have a summary of the data in this Kiplinger article. And in here, I'm just going to run through it, but I'm going to tell you there's going to be some surprises, and you're going to go, that's interesting. So, the bottom line is Amazon had the lowest prices, period. And they have the low prices across the board, but especially on video games and fashion, but only had a narrow lead in things like HBA, beauty, and toys. And we'll actually go through the actual specifics. So, Profitero, they compared non-sale prices on approximately 14,000 items across all sorts of online retailers. Now, understand non-sale, so that right there tells you it's not quite fair. So full price across 14 different retailers, right? And here's what it concluded. Amazon had lower prices versus Walmart and 12 other U.S. retailers, including Best Buy, Chewy, CVS, Dick's, Sporting Goods, GameStop, GNC, Home Depot, Kohl's, Lowe's, Macy's, Nordstrom's, Petco, PetSmart, Target, Ulta, Walgreens, Walmart, and Wayfair. And on average, this is what's interesting, on average, Amazon's prices across the board on these 14,000 items were 16% lower than the entire group of competitors. Now, the main competitor is Walmart, so we'll break that down. But if you shop at, Amazon, you're paying 16% less. And what they really did is, item like item like item. By the way, it wasn't a bar of soap to a bar of soap. It was a 4-ounce bar of Dove to a 4-ounce bar of Dove. So it had to be a similar SKU. And so Amazon actually, the gap of how much lower they are increased by 3% last year from the previous year. So Amazon's getting cheaper compared to the competition. Now, when you go head to head, Amazon versus Walmart on these SKUs, Amazon was 4% less than Walmart across identical items. So if they were 100% identical, Amazon was just 4% less than Walmart. Interesting, really interesting. However, Walmart's becoming more competitive in more categories, including video games, fashion, and home improvement. So Walmart is catching up to Amazon in the price wars. They haven't quite caught up perfectly. Now, in the article, they discuss the merits of Amazon Prime Days versus Walmart holiday deals. They break that down. I'm not going to do that for you. I will tell you an interesting part of the article, which I'm also not going to really break down too much, is Amazon versus Walmart in the grocery game. And that is very interesting. It was very interesting to see Amazon's extensive grocery game strategy. And they have multi-levels of strategies. Not only they have Amazon Fresh, which is actually the cheapest groceries in America, and then they have, of course, Whole Foods. They have a delivery strategy. They have Amazon Prime discounts. And the general vibe was Amazon is winning the online grocery game by far. And most people actually really enjoy Amazon's Whole Foods. Now, Whole Foods is slightly more expensive, but it also is perceived as much better quality. And with Whole Foods, with their weekly sales, with your Amazon Prime 10% discount, and if you use a couple other devices, then Amazon's, even their expensive platform, Whole Foods, becomes more affordable. And then when you put on that if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get free delivery within an hour. That's another thing I didn't understand. How all these online food grocery stores are all about delivery. For Prime members, Amazon will deliver, depending on where you live, will deliver groceries for free in an hour. If you're not Amazon Prime, there's a small charge, like $5 or something. But I didn't know Walmart's the same way. Walmart actually has free delivery, 2-hour free delivery, with some restrictions based on location and some other things. And that actually Walmart is becoming very good at grocery delivery, which who knew? I didn't know. But there's a huge war over this grocery thing, and the article really goes through it. Of course, too, and I don't understand this, I've been an Amazon Prime member forever, a decade or something, but Amazon Prime also has a free Grubhub Plus, which I don't know what the heck that is. So there you go, but it was really interesting reading about their grocery strategies, the delivery, their pricing, who's better. Now, let's just get back to the head-to-head and some other statistics, and we'll wrap this up. I find this really interesting. Okay, so here's the thing. So this is Walmart versus Amazon. The study showed that the two companies have identical pricing across identical products 70% of the time. So when it was the exact same SKU, 70% of the time they're priced 100% the same. Now remember, Amazon's cheaper across the board, but head-to-head SKUs, they're the same. And then 30%, it's interesting, remember head-to-head, Amazon is 4% cheaper. That means on the 30% of products that they're not priced the same, Amazon's priced significantly better. All right? And by the way, the other retailers don't even come close. Like the other retailers I listed, the other 12 aren't close in pricing. And so, to give you a comparison, when Amazon and Target compete on the exact same SKU, they have matching prices only 26% of the time. That's right. So Target can only get down to Amazon's price 26% of the time. 75% of the time on the exact same item, Target's more expensive. And then, when we start to talk about how Amazon competes in video games and fashions, they're significantly less expensive than competitors. As a matter of fact, Amazon is 9% cheaper than Best Buy on head-to-head SKUs. And then it's 7% cheaper on the video games and fashion than Walmart on head-to-head SKUs, but it's only 2% cheaper on HBA and toys, versus Amazon. Interesting. Now, here's another thing. Now, Target is working hard to improve their pricing. It's interesting because in 15 categories, they improved pricing in 7 and got worse in pricing in 8, and that's compared to Amazon. But that they're 16% across the board on like SKUs higher than Amazon. So pretty expensive. Something super surprising. I'm gonna give you 2 more surprising things, and then we're just gonna do some quick stuff and get out. Here's really interesting. The most competitive SKUs online in America? Pet food. Pet food. It's the most competitive category in this study and online. And here's what's interesting. Only 1% separates Chewy, Petco, and Amazon in pricing. And in fact, when it's head-to-head SKUs, Chewy's and Amazon has the exact same pricing on those items 93% of the time. So Chewy's and Amazon are almost priced identical. They're on the same SKUs, it's 93% of the time the exact same price. And overall, Amazon's only 1% cheaper. It just comes down to which company you like better, which company do you think has better delivery. Now, our house, we lean towards Chewy's. They throw in free little toys sometimes. They're super neat, super fast. We like the box. I know our dog used to love the box, so we lean Chewy's, but same pricing. And then another surprising, when you start to talk about health and personal care items, and let's just compare Amazon to CVS and Walgreens. This is on across the board on health and personal care items. CVS is 52% more expensive than Amazon. Is that crazy? 52% more expensive? And Walgreens is 42% more expensive. And one of the reasons you've seen Rite Aid, which is nearly bankrupt or coming out of bankruptcy, and CVS and Walgreens closing stores, if you walked in one of those stores, half the items are locked behind a cabinet. The shelves are totally empty. There's no customer service. They are out of stock of most things. I've completely changed my buying habits. I go to Amazon for all my health and personal care stuff. I don't care now. Sometimes you got to buy a little bit more volume to get, cheaper prices or delivery, same day delivery. But it's a heck of a lot better than going to one of those, gosh, awful stores. But 50% more expensive. So there you go. If we just look at some quick categories, I say we'll wrap this up. I don't know what this means, but I don't know. The category is baby. I don't know if they're selling babies, if that's baby food, if that's baby toys or baby clothes, or if it's diapers. But Amazon's the lowest, with Walmart the second lowest, and Amazon being 3% cheaper on same SKUs. On beauty products, Amazon's the lowest, Walmart's number 2. Walmart is 2% more expensive than Amazon. In health and personal care, Amazon's the cheapest, Walmart's number 2, with Amazon being 4% cheaper on health and personal care than Amazon. In household supplies, Amazon's the cheapest, Walmart's number 2 at 3% more expensive. Pet supplies, Amazon's the cheapest, with Chewy number 2, just 1% behind. Vitamins and supplements, Amazon's number 1, with Walmart number 2, Walmart being 4% more expensive. Appliances, I have never bought an appliance from Walmart. I think that'd be an interesting experience. But Amazon's number 1, with Walmart number 2, 4% behind. Electronics, Amazon's number 1, Best Buy's number 2 at 4% behind. On fashion, now this just seems like an oxymoron. Who goes to Walmart for fashion? Maybe I'm just out of the times. I don't know. Maybe they sell Jimmy Choo shoes at Walmart. Not that I've ever bought Jimmy Choos. That just the only thing that came to mind. But on fashion, Amazon's cheaper. Walmart's number 2 at 7% more expensive. Sports and outdoor stuff, Amazon's number 1, with Walmart number 2 at 3% behind. With tools and home improvement, Amazon's number 1, with Walmart number 2, 5% more expensive. Toys, Amazon's number 1, with Walmart number 2 at 2%. I understand Walmart's going to really greatly expand their toy section as that big box toy category is completely collapsed. Video games, Amazon's number 1, with Best Buy number 2, and Best Buy's 9% more expensive. So there you go. Those pricing wars as we enter in the holiday shopping season. I hope you found this interesting. I mean, if you can add this to a newsletter. If you do a monthly newsletter to your clients, this could be useful to them. I hope you found it useful. I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, happy shopping, happy hunting. I look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.